Alright, at long last, Sayonara 2020. Fuck you, piece of shit year. Goddamn miserable piece of shit hellscape year. Um, you know, I primarily do sports videos, or sports related, and, boy, did I sure picked a good one. Good year to kind of start doing that, didn't I? The year in which, after about second week of March, we couldn't do shit with sports. There were no sports for like 4 months. Remember the Korean baseball league? Remember watching that for 4 months and that being the only thing out there? Um, yeah, this was a hellscape year for sports fans because you know you know March Madness was taken away. Um, you know, we got back the NBA and NHL for playoffs, but it never felt right. We got, barely a third of a baseball season, but it never felt right. We've gotten a full NFL season, but even that didn't feel right. And we've gotten, just a mess of a college football season. Um, you know, like even the stuff we got this year, like after, second week of March, it hasn't felt right. Like it's just been this detachment from sports. Even the Vikings to an extent. Like I've been into the season, but I haven't been into the season even like some other years. Like it was just for me personally, it was the first time since 2005 I didn't even go to a Vikings game, and even longer since I last had a year where I didn't go to a Twins game. And it wasn't available to me. It wasn't available to any of us. But just a bad year for as a sports fan because even the stuff we got, it just wasn't the same. And even now, like NBA is back, but it doesn't feel like, and they're playing in home arenas, but it doesn't feel right. You know, like even the ratings have been down for everything because I think it's just you watch it on TV with no fans, it's just not the same. It just isn't like it's like a facsimile of 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 real sport. Now we're gonna have NFL playoffs starting up with no fans in the stands, and it's gonna be weird as hell. And it's never gonna feel right. Um, it's just all this stuff's never gonna feel right until we get back to having stadiums and ballparks full of fans, and that may not even happen in 2021. I mean, I can hope it happens in 2021. I hope that certainly by next fall, we can get back to U.S. Bank Stadium and watch the Vikings, and you know, get back to TCF, or I guess it won't be TCF Bank Stadium by then. They're renaming it, but watch the Gophers and maybe even get the Twins season going, and maybe have a chance to go to these games. Like you know, a lot of people don't even go to games; they just watch them on TV. But even just that, it's just not the same. It hasn't been the same this year, and you know, it hasn't. It just hasn't felt right. Nothing has felt right. Everything's been weird, and like even going last week of the NFL season, and there's been COVID stuff popping up again. It's like, was it Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't going to be able to play for Miami this week because he tested positive for COVID. It's like this stuff we're not out of the woods yet. We got vaccines, but we ain't got them for sure yet. I mean, they're not like to the point where everyone's going to for sure have them real soon. I mean, like me personally, I'm not in any of the categories that are going to get me a vaccine very quickly. I'm probably just me personally, I probably won't get one until sometime in the summer, and that's fine. That's not. I'm not one of these people like these people in Florida who are essentially butting in line to like give me your vaccine now, like whatever. But so yeah, I mean it's gonna be a while before we can get back to normal with sports, you know, like it used to be, and I think it will get back to what it used to be. But it may not even happen in 2021. I think probably by the next fall we'll be able to at least have fans in the stands at most NFL stadiums. I really think so. I mean, you know, you know, you can't count out anything after a year like this, but I really think we'll have that. And you know, but yeah, this was a rough year for sports. You know, just for for Minnesota sports. You know, it started great. This was a great start to the year. Remember way back, beginning of January, January 1, Gophers win that bowl game, and then a couple days later, the Vikings beat the Saints in the playoffs, and you know, it looked like we were gonna have a great year, and then fucking Vikings come back, have a disappointing year. Gophers come back, have a disappointing year. Twins won the division, but again, can't win in the playoffs. The Timberwolves didn't even play. They weren't even good enough to come back in the bubble, and they've started up, but they look kind of like terrible again. Ricky Rubio's already calling out the team. The Wild came back and played briefly in the playoffs, but they were dispatched and they're going into a rebuild. Lynx again kind of picked up the slack. They're the one team in town that kind of exceeded expectations. They had a good season, and hopefully Maya comes back next year now, and they can really do something. But sports wise, and for Minnesota sports this year, it was like it was for a lot of areas. Just kind of we're just going without, and I hope 2021 is better. I think the Vikings. I mean, I'm always gonna say this, but I think the Vikings will have a better year next year than they did. I think even the Gophers will have a better year next year. I think the Twins will be competitive. The Twins' issues are playoff related. I don't think they're not going to have too much trouble, at least competing for a playoff spot. I think the Lynx will be very good. The Wolves are what they are. The Wild are going into rebuild. They're not going to be very good. Gopher men's basketball team's off to a fairly decent start. So maybe they'll do something, and maybe there will actually be a March Madness this year. I think that's pretty likely that there will be. I don't think we have any danger of going into another thing like we had this spring and summer, where there's just months and months with nothing. I don't think that's ever going to happen again with this. I mean, again, you say it, but you can't be 100% sure. But I think we're like the NFL has gotten through their season for the most part. With they've had a few bumps, but for the most part they've gotten through it. Even college, has done okay. I guess that's a matter of opinion, but so yeah. So sayonara 2020. You were a piece of shit. I hate you. Certainly one of the worst years of my life for reasons that don't even entirely apply just to sports and even just even COVID stuff. But terrible year. 2021's got to be better, man. Let's just keep hope that 2021 is a whole lot better.